Yo, what's up, guys? Today I have a very special video for y'all. I'm so excited. It is currently 4:30 in the freaking morning. But I have some very special content for you. As you can see, Lamangosta, however you say it, he is a developer for Rush Royale or something. Let's see. I can find him on this list somewhere, I promise. Somewhere. He's somewhere. Am I crazy? Does it not list offline people in here? I guess not. Anyway, he is a developer of the Rush Royale team. Anyway, doesn't matter. Basically, I got the patch notes for the 3.0 patch of Rush Royale early, and I am here to share them all with you today. I'm very excited. We're gonna go through line by line, analyze, see what's going on. I hopped out of bed just for y'all. Very excited. So basically, here are the main new features we plan to introduce. 4 new units, balance changes in the existing units. There's a lot more balance changes than I thought there would be. New boss Puppeteer. That is a fresh boss. It's not copied from any other game that I know of, at least. I'm sorry about that. We've got new emojis. Whatever, who cares? Many other new features. Didn't see a whole lot of that, but whatever. Boss has 2 abilities: lower the power of all units, shift the columns on the field. Basically, they can lower the okay, let's just read it. First ability: decrease the power of power-ups of all units by 1 level. It works 4 times per, I don't know what CD stands for, at equal intervals. So I'm guessing it'd be like first corner, middle, third corner, and at the end, if I had to guess. And it lowers the units then. The second one: every 4 seconds after the first cast, move the units on the field. Units at the edge of the board are moved to the opposite edge. So it just kind of shifts your board around a lot, which could really mess you up, especially if you're running NG deck. Yeah, anyway, we continue. New units. Okay, teleport. This is a copy from Random Dice, same name and everything. Basically, it's a debuff dice. It has a chance every time it hits. It's kind of like how Bombardier has a chance to stun. Teleport has a chance to send a unit back to the beginning. What's cool about it is it works on bosses. Anyway, Headsman. This is an original concept, as far as I'm aware. Finishes off a target whose health is less than a certain percentage, half as effective finishing off bosses. So this guy could be really strong depending on what that percentage is, and also how long he takes to attack. Corsair is the landmine dice. But what's cool is they're adding that mechanic, so you can see throws a bomb at a random point. Bomb remains in place until it touches the monster. With a certain chance, it can throw a grumpy bomb that deals percentage damage to bosses. So it's adding that like even more luck mechanic, I guess, where it's got that special ability. Okay, and we've got Meteor. When merged, releases a meteorite that kills normal monsters and deals percentage damage to the bosses. The percentage of damage increases in proportion to the rank of the merging units. So basically, it's just a nuke. Pretty cool. That's also from Random Dice. Anyway. Mechanics change. All damage modifiers which based on percentage of the target health can no longer critically damage and are applied by an additional attack on top of the main one. So essentially, it's not going to be possible. It's not going to be possible to get to super high co-op tiers anymore. Like even with grindstone cheese. Anyway, so they made it to where Alchemist and Plague Doctor increase. So every time, instead of only proccing once per second, so let's say the enemies are sitting in a pool of poison from a plague doctor, it used to proc every 1 second, and now it procs 2.5 times per second. So they do some stuff to balance that out, which makes sense because plague doctor would be busted as hell if it stayed that way. Anyway, yeah, so it affects alchemist, plague doctor. Poison dart already had an increased poison proc rate, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, Bombardier, they're nerfing Bombardier. It attacks slower and its stun duration is less. Makes sense, Bombardier is really strong. Cold Mage, they nerfed it, so now it's going to be so it used to slow by 20% at max, I believe. So it by default it was 10%, and then with the 5 upgrades it became either 18 or 20. Anyway, it'll max out at either 14 or 15 now, so a little bit of a nerf there. I do think it'll still, if mechanically it still works the same, which it does, I think it'll still be better than Frost. Anyway, Poison Dart, they increased the damage, they increased the power up damage. They increase the rate in which poison ticks. It'll still be bad, I promise. Rogue, they increase the attack speed by 0.2 seconds. So that's a 20% increase in attack speed. That's a 20% increase in damage. But 20% of nothing is still nothing. Anyway, Alchemist, changed mechanics, trap damage rate per second increased from 1 to 2.5. So we already read that up here. They reduced the trap damage from 100, so they half the trap damage. So, but it procs 2.5 times instead of 1 time. So, it's a 50% increase altogether to damage. Anyway, for the power up, they also reduced that. They halved that, and same with the level up. So they just halved all of the values, but overall it's a 50% increase in the damage for Alchemist. They're also upgrading updating all the descriptions and stuff, so that's nice. For Banner, they gave it a 2% increase, and they also made it to where the power-ups deal a little bit more. So Banner will be a tiny bit more viable. I don't know how strong it'll be. Grindstone. This one's pretty cool. So they basically doubled the effect of Grindstone, which is a lot. Anyway, so for Crystalmancer, I'm not sure how to read this one properly, but I'm not sure if that means it'll scale faster. So instead of scaling by 24 per hit, it'll scale by 26 per hit, or if upgrading it will make it it will increase it by 26 instead of 24. I think that's what it might be. No, because this says increased damage from mana implication increased by 20%. I don't know. We'll have to see when the update actually comes out. And this, it says Crystalmancer is rare. Crystalmancer is epic, by the way. Anyway, Reaper, they increased the kill percent chance from 4 to 5%. A little buff to Reaper. Well, I mean, that's a 20% buff. That's huge. 20% increase. Thunderer, they called it Thundercaller for some reason. Anyway, they increased its attack speed. They increased its damage by 10. And they also increased its power up by 10. So that's another 40 increase. So overall, that's a pretty big upgrade. Anyway, Vampire, they nerf Vampire a lot. Basically, the interval between attacks, basically it attacks slower. Just 0.1 seconds, not a huge deal. But the big thing is it takes longer for the value, or for the vampire to proc. So it won't be, I think it'll only be proccing oh, okay, I'm reading the wrong thing. Yeah. So it'll be procking less around the board, basically, is what I'm saying. So it'll be harder to get that extra value by letting your troops live longer. Anyway, and for the first attack, it takes 4 times longer for you to get that mana from that first attack. However, it's really only like 1/10 of a second. So as long as you're not insta-killing everything, you should be okay. But if you are, so that's a big nerf to Vampire early game. Anyway, Plague Doctor, we already read the notes for this. Basically, Plague Doctor actually, they scaled it not as well as they scaled Alchemist. Basically, this isn't 50%, so it would be 60. So Plague Doctor is getting a tiny bit of a buff, damage output wise or DPS wise, like 10%, which is pretty impressive, honestly. But it's definitely not as big as the 50% that Alchemist is receiving. Now, saying that, Alchemist is trash. So, all right, Demon Hunter. We're getting into the legendaries here already. Sweet. Change the firing mechanics of the Demon Hunter at merge 3 through 6. So that's the AoE type shotgun phase. If the number of the hunter's projectiles is more than the number of targets, then the projectiles will be distributed among the remaining targets. For example, attacking a single target at the 5th rank of Confluence, a pawn will fire 5 shells at it. So essentially, I think what it means is, let's say you have a tier 6 Demon Hunter and it is shooting, so it shoots 6 shells, right? It hits 6 different enemies. And let's say a boss spawns, it'll shoot all 6 of those shells instead of just 1 shell. It'll shoot all 6 of those shells at a time at that boss. So I think that's what it means. Correct me if I'm wrong. The grammar is a little strange here. Anyway, the intervals between attacks at ranks 3 to 6 have been reduced. Okay. I mean, the attack speed was already so bad. Depending on the merge rank, the pawn also increases the attack speed by a small value. Okay, so I guess now instead of them having the same attack speed through level 3, 4, 5, and 6, it'll be 4 is faster than 3, 5 is faster than 4, 6 is faster than 5, hopefully. That should have been a thing from the beginning, because that's how every other tower works in the game. Anyway, and they decreased its power up value by 40 points per upgrade. That's pretty huge, actually. I don't know, I guess they're expecting it to that buff to be a big deal. Maybe it'll do a ton of boss damage now. Anyway, for Trapper, I'm excited about this one. I've already gone through all of these, obviously. Change the mechanics of traps. Now trapped monsters take more damage from pawns on the table. I'm guessing pawns means troops or whatever. Increased damage per stack 50%, maximum damage increase 50%. So if I have multiple traps hitting one enemy, it doesn't increase it to hundreds and hundreds of percent. It's just one. Single stack slow strength, so they increase that slow that Trapper was doing from 20 to 30%, which is huge. And they also increased the maximum deceleration to 80%. So if I have 3 traps on one person, it'll be a 80% speed reduce, which is pretty cool. Let's see. When it comes to damage, they doubled its damage, and its power up damage goes up, so you get 30 more damage per thing. That's fine. Response interval. So now we can increase the rate in which it throws traps. That's awesome. By 0.2 seconds per upgrade. Not a huge deal. That's 0.8 seconds at level 5. But I mean, that's a second off of each trap thrown, so pretty cool. Let's see, this is Frost, I believe. Now the description contains information that the power of slowing increases with the rank of the fusion. Okay, so this is Frost. Basically they just increased its damage Yeah, they increased its damage, and they clarified that at higher tiers it does slow more. Okay. Night statue buff. Woo! They increased the attack speed from 6 to 8%. That's a 20% increase. That's pretty good. Increased attack speed when activated. That's up by 0.5%. So that's a little more. This is huge. Increased crit rate from 1% to 5%. So that is the equivalent to the new grindstone. It's also 5%. So that's pretty ridiculous. Updated description. Now the description contains information that the chance of a critical hit and the increase in attack speed increases with the rank of the merge. So yes, having a higher tier night statue does increase that that attack speed buff and the crit chance buff. That's awesome. This is Clock of Power. I don't know why they call it Master Dial. That's probably a more realistic name, let's be honest. So they basically just changed the value from 4 to 5% for both of them. That's fine, for both PvP and co-op. Okay, Stasis. They just increased its damage a little bit. That's fine. Changed the mechanics for Demonologist. Changed the mechanics of the summoned monster in PvP mode. Summoned creature now gains mana upon death. I'm hoping that mana goes towards me, the person that summoned the demon, and not the person that kills the demon, because that would be disgusting. I'm curious. They don't really specify what changing the mechanics is that referring to the mana that it releases, or anyway, whatever. And we got a Shaman Nerf, which means projectile flight time increased from 1.5 seconds to 1.85 seconds in PvP mode, which is awesome. So it's the same speed in co-op. Doesn't really matter that much, but that's pretty cool. Anyway, those are all the patch notes for you. I just wanted to get them out. This video isn't really going to be super edited. I hope that's okay with y'all. I just want to get it out as soon as I can. I really hope y'all enjoy, and I will see you next video. Bye bye.